What's happening, good people? So welcome to another episode of First Generation Wealth Builders, man. Today I have a special guest. I have Miss Brittany Perry. How you doing?
Great, how are you?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed. So before we get to going, I just want to, acknowledge that you came in here with the silver toes, and she was like, I kept it modest. Ooh. So,
Yes.
man, thank you for coming through.
No problem. Thank you for inviting me.
No, no doubt. Our goal is to, put a spotlight on, individuals doing dope things, and attaching their relationship to real estate. To have conversations like this in front of those who are interested, and to give them, different ways to build wealth, different strategies, and the knowledge of the different potentials and the different avenues into real estate.
Okay.
So I appreciate it, man. So enough about me in the podcast, man. Who is Brittany Perry?
Well, Brittany Perry. So, I'm 34-year-old, mom of two,
Okay.
wife of one.
Okay.
Wife of one for 15 years. Our daughters are 16, 13. And
Okay.
so those are my priorities. But more importantly, in addition to, I own a brokerage,
Okay.
Divine Realty Group here in Indianapolis, in Cumberland, for the last 7 years. So since 2014.
Okay.
We have a team of about 8 now.
Okay.
About 8.
You just bring it to you though. Yep,
Right
there
here?
you go. Yeah.
Is it better?
Yeah, you good.
Okay. So team about 8. And we're consistently growing, consistently selling. So multi-million selling group. I've been a multi-million producing agent as long as I can remember.
Yeah. Okay.
And so
She said I've been hot stuff since I can remember.
just quiet. I'm
Ain't
more of a
no-
tsunami. You get what I mean? You
Okay.
don't know I took over until I hit. And so
I love it. Okay.
but on the brokerage side, I actually love doing the education part, educating the agents and the clients. So as a broker, you gotta train everyone to represent you in transactions because they're your team. So it's like a company, any other company. You train your staff to represent you properly when you're not there. And so training in real estate is forever evolving. So that's where I kind of flourish, is training my agents, because I came from INHP. So I came from an educational financial literacy background with INHP and Community Action of Greater Indianapolis. It's when I started in the housing market in 2009, and then I transitioned to real estate.
Got you. To go a little bit in depth into the INHP, what exactly is that for somebody who doesn't know what that is?
Okay, INHP stands for Indianapolis Neighborhood Housing Partnership. They're probably the largest housing partnership in the city. They're a nonprofit, and
Okay.
so they assist with clients with credit counseling, financial literacy, budget, those kind of things to get you prepared for home ownership. So they have like a program that clients can enroll in. There's classes throughout the program and one-on-one counseling. And at the end of the program, the goal is to make sure that they are pre-approved for a mortgage and to get to purchase a home. And then that's when they hire someone
Got
from
you.
my team to buy the house.
Got you. So when you were doing that, what was like your job title?
Financial literacy educator.
Understood.
So that's when I left. That's my title. When I started, it was like intake specialist or something like that. I started in 2009. And the funny part was that they hired me after I was a client. So my husband and I were like 22 buying our first house. We were a client in the program and did, I guess, amazingly. And then they wanted to hire me. So I left my job at that time to come and work for them.
Awesome. Pretty dope. All right, so let's go back.
Okay.
So what was childhood like?
Childhood was pretty fun for me. It's totally different from this new childhood. You know what I mean? Like these new generations, childhood was really
No
fun.
iPads.
No iPads. We were outside. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
okay.
So product of public schools, Indianapolis public schools. So
Okay.
my entire life, I've been in the public schools.
What side of town?
East.
Okay.
Far east.
Okay.
All 34 years of my life. So I'm an
Ain't
east
nothing wrong with
sider.
it. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
And so graduated from Tech High School.
Okay.
But enjoyed my childhood. It was pretty fun and lit to me. You know what I mean? We didn't know much. You know what I mean? We had what we needed, and 2-parent household, really blessed. My parents are still married, been married for 34 years. And so really excited. I had a really good childhood. 2 siblings, 2 younger sisters. So they were my best friends. So it was easy.
Got you. Which one are you? The youngest?
I'm the oldest of 3
Okay,
girls.
so you're like the responsible boss. You the sister parent.
I'm the sister parent. They were my
Yeah,
first,
okay.
my first go round of like having kids. Not really having them, but you know what I mean, like directing them because I was bossy. So I was the
Okay.
mom when nobody was around, even
Oh,
though I didn't have to be. So they were
understood.
my first teachers of being a mom.
Got you. All right. So went to tech. Did you go to college?
I went to college for like a year. I
Okay.
was pregnant when I left high school, so I
Okay.
graduated pregnant. Didn't really know, but I was. And so finished a year of college. Really wasn't my thing. Went to IU Bloomington. Wasn't my thing. I thought I wanted to do criminal justice.
Okay.
And then I was like, maybe IT
What
is a
happened? What,
thing.
what what happened that was like a no go?
I didn't like school. I just wasn't into. I just wasn't into college like that. And I really felt at a young age that I was just going because that was what I was supposed to do.
Facts.
However, my mom has always been a hustler my entire life. Like sold anything. You know what I mean? Like Mary Kay and everything. And so I've always saw the entrepreneur side. My dad always worked and my mom always sold something. And so that intrigued me more.
Excuse me 1 second. What's that noise?
Music.
Is that her? Check. Okay. All right. I'm sorry about that. I
No, you
was just like,
good.
man, what is that? All
You
right.
good.
So I got a question.
Okay.
Your father's a pastor.
Yes.
What was home like when you were pregnant at 18? I'm very curious.
Actually, my dad was like super cool. I mean, of course, that wasn't the plan they saw for me,
Understood.
but my dad was like super cool. My mom freaked out like crazy, but my dad was super cool. He's like the coolest dad in the world. So,
Okay.
and we're daddy's girls, so it probably, helps a little bit, but he was super cool. He never has put pressure on us like that to worry about what the world thought.
Mm.
And so that made my life so much easier being a PK, because we let life teach us, and he allowed it.
Preacher's kid.
Yeah.
Got you.
Preacher's
Okay. I'm
kid.
tracking. I'm
Yeah.
tracking.
So he allowed life to teach us along with his guidance, and we grew up in church. But later, becoming an adult, we had to find our own relationship, and so spiritual relationship, and so he just allowed it to happen. He wasn't like overbearing and
Okay.
overprotective.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So when you're pregnant, are you at Bloomington?
I left pregnant. So
Okay,
yeah.
got you. Okay.
And then I came back. I had her here though.
Is that where you
Yeah.
met your husband?
I met my husband in high school, 16. We've been together since I was 16.
Oh wow.
So,
Okay.
So
Okay.
18 years. So I'm 34. So 18 years.
All right. And so I asked you kind of like, like what were some of your peaks and valleys in life? And you was just like, man, like we basically we grew up together.
Yep.
All right. Explain that to me.
So we were never really single adults. And so our parents were just those responsible parents that took care of bills and took care of, the finances, and didn't really teach us because they just did it. And so getting married at 19, we really didn't know how to do those kind of things. We didn't really have much financial literacy. Nobody sat down and told us a budget, the importance of credit, or any of that. And so we had to learn those crazy adult things really young, and most of it was through failure. You know what I mean? Like coming home like click, we didn't, pay this or something. Mm-hmm. And so we had to learn those things early because we had the girls. We had our oldest at 18 and our youngest at 21. So we, when everybody else around us, all our friends are in college and turning up and drinking for the first time because they're 21, we were figuring out life and staying married. So working together as a team, we established that teamwork and that just having each other's back really early, and us against the world really early. And so then when life started happening with businesses and things like that, it became easier. And we were already secure with each other and where our positions with each other. But yeah, figuring out financial literacy was tough.
I'm gonna go back to go forward.
Okay.
Like when you first discovered that you were pregnant, did you guys feel like you had to get married?
No.
Okay.
It was never, and this is not a surprise to my husband, but it was never a pressure thing.
Okay.
Even my wedding day, my dad made sure, like, you don't have to, you know what I mean? He loves my
Okay,
husband,
okay,
but
okay.
he's reiterating, you know, like, making sure you don't feel pressured to do anything. We never were pressured.
Okay.
It was totally our you know, decision, and it was really cool. It's cool now. We're like best friends.
It seems like it's the best thing that ever
Yeah,
happened.
it was.
Okay, cool. Dope,
It didn't
dope.
seem like it all the time, but it was. 15 years later, we're like super cool.
All right. So, like, career-wise, what do you dive into when you get back from Bloomington?
Career, just regular, you know, like medical jobs, like call center type jobs, working for like student loan companies, stuff like that, just to get my feet wet in the workplace, in the workforce, because I'm young, so I never filed taxes and stuff like that. So just getting jobs, and then after maybe 2-3 years of working in call center type things, entered corporate America, and I've just always been blessed with really good jobs without a degree, and so that to me reiterated the non-importance for me in my life path, because I was just blessed with great opportunities, and continuously it just keeps happening. And
So what led to the opportunities typically, though? Like, I mean, how do you, for me, I think that a gateway to a lot of opportunities are just a lot of healthy relationships.
it is. It's always who you know.
Okay.
It's always who you know, and no matter how much we don't want to admit it, like it is. It's always, no matter what avenue you're in, entrepreneur or corporate America, it's always who you know, and that's how far you can go. So your network is always your net worth.
I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Now, bridge to me, through that time, how real estate comes about.
Okay, so 2009 was the turning point for us. We were 22 and wanted to buy our first house. We had our second daughter and was ready to buy our first house. But again, we didn't know the importance of credit and stuff, and so we enrolled in INHP, and they taught us the importance of it. So going through that program, it's do the work yourself. They'll teach you and guide you, but you do the work yourself. So after working so hard to get where we needed to go, we were like, oh, okay, this is kind of cool. I loved it. I enjoyed learning new stuff about it and wanted to potentially start a career in it. And that's when I left IU Health. I was there for a while and went over to INHP and learned everything that I could about the housing market on that side. Once I left that side of the education part, I'm like, oh, we're getting them ready to buy a house. I want to learn on the other side of who sells them the houses. And then that's when I became a broker. I was the last class in Indy that you can go straight into brokering. So I never held my license with anybody else. I started the first day with a brokerage.
Wow. Okay.
It was crazy.
Now, that seems like it would be very challenging.
It was.
Okay. So let's talk about that.
Okay.
So like what was the first like big like, oh my God, I don't know if this was the right move?
My very first client, coming out of real estate school, it was someone that I knew that trusted me. And again, it's always who you know. So as soon as I left real estate school, people joined my team fairly quickly. And I wasn't ready, but.
Were you marketing?
No, I was not.
Okay.
Of course, I made a post like, oh, I'm finished, you know what I mean, with real estate school, and this is what I'm doing. And I guess that is marketing in some sense, but it wasn't an invitation, no.
Understood.
And so they were like, oh, you're doing this? Okay, I want to do this too. They just trusted me. But the first challenge was with my first client. She was my client. However, I was still working for corporate America and could not get off of work to show a house. And she called the agent on the sign. And they showed her the house, and they sold her the house, which means it cut me out of the deal. I'm a little smarter than the average bear, so I still got paid because I was fresh out of school and knew all the technical terms, of how to get like recurring calls, meaning I had her first.
Right.
And so that was my first challenge in being a woman, not only, a black woman, but a woman in the workplace, very, very young. And I was fighting against some older white guy who really didn't, like think that I would know what I was talking about, but I won that one. So that was my first lesson though, like don't call the number on the sign, like the importance of communication with your clients and making sure that you stay on top of stuff. Got
you. What would you say to a young African-American woman listening to this? Today she can't obtain her brokerage right away. She has to wait 2 years, I think.
2 years.
but becoming an agent, as an African American lady, what would you put in her tool bag?
Tool bag. There's a few different things: a physical tool bag and a mental tool bag. Because you have to mentally, you have to be prepared to fight in the industry, because there are older agents who are stuck in their ways. You know what I mean? And who are not too pleased with the newcomers and new whippersnappers taking up everything. They don't understand the importance of social media and marketing because they didn't have to do it when they got in the game, and so they're annoyed with us from the beginning. So
you said us.
Yeah.
you holding on to that youth. I love it. Keep pushing. No, keep pushing. I like it.
So they're annoyed anyhow. You get what I mean? And so just treating people with a level of respect that you want back has been the biggest key for me. There's hopefully, I'm not sure, maybe after this we'll see, but there's no one that I can say has an issue with me, like ever. I mean, not ever, but from 25 to about 35.
You didn't return my call. I got that issue. I'm the first issue. Let's start that way. You know what I'm saying? You didn't return my call. But it's cool. Come on. Keep coming. So that was the mental.
I knew that was coming, right?
So the mental tool bag.
The mental tool bag. The physical tool bag is always to have a pair of flats and a pair of heels. I mean, like, because you never know. I wore heels all the time at the beginning, and then my male clients do not care about any of those proper prissy heels. They're going to drag you through all them properties that are about to fall apart that they want you to sell them. And you just got to, roll with the punches. So a pair of heels and a pair of flats, but always just mentally be prepared. It's a big mental game. It's not really a physical game. You just got to be prepared and know that when you walk in the room, you need to change the atmosphere. And you can do that just by being who you are authentically.
And so when you say that, you could change the room by being who you are. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah, so for me, like, I don't conform. I'm not the loudest in the room, but I may be the most powerful in the room. I've never been, I don't like social media for my personal page, but I know that I need it for my business. And so whereas some realtors may be the loudest on there and post every 5 seconds, that's not my tactic. But that's me, and I stay true to who I am. And because of that, the relationships that I establish are like genuine, because I don't change or try to be a chameleon and change for each different person. Like, I'm only me. And it's exhausting trying to be a whole lot of different people. So it's just easy to be yourself. And when you're confident, it just exudes like that. Like, you just do what you want to do. I show houses in Jordans and stuff all the time. Like, I dress up for...
And your silver toes. I see you. I see you. That's what's up.
Just be who you are, like, and then you can just change the atmosphere. That's what I do. I try to, and I try to change it positively, not negatively. Positively.
Understood. All right. So you got your first client, missed the sale, arbitrated it, got it back. All right. So as you're navigating, what are some more of your challenges?
Marketing and advertising through social media when you don't like social media. So social media is 95% of my money. I get 95% of my clients from Facebook, not even Instagram. Facebook.
But you don't like the post.
I don't, but you can pay people to do it for you after a little while.
Okay.
I don't like to post. I'm only on there personally for family across the country, but when I know the importance of something, I just have to do it. And even if I don't like to do it, I figure a way of how to get it done. But social media was a huge thing for me. And that actually helped me grow. I mean, agents started seeing me more, and I just me posting my closings. Everybody started seeing me more and started trusting me just because of what they saw, which now it's a little funny because I laugh about it all the time. You can really be whoever you want to be on the internet. Like, you can look like you're doing a whole bunch of stuff and not doing anything.
Man.
But back then I actually was doing all this stuff. So
okay.
It worked for me.
So this is about 2014?
Yes, 2014.
Got you. So now I have a question, but it's not about the peaks and valleys. It's more so, if I, from the outside, was looking to become a realtor, and I was not an investor, I think that I would lean towards holding my license with a big brokerage like a Keller Williams, Tucker, because, my assumption would be they may have a larger learning platform to support a new agent like myself, because they're so large that they would be able to take all their failures from the large amount of agents that they have, compile them to then support somebody like myself. What would you say about that decision if I were to go do that?
It's some truth to that. They do have more access to trainings and agent development because they've been around 9 times out of 10 longer than the private brokerages. However, the good part, especially the good thing that came out of the pandemic, like right before too, is that those large brokerages started opening up to the independent brokerages, their training platforms and everything. So right before the pandemic hit, a large brokerage was recruiting me to bring my brokerage over with them and opened up everything for us. And so they've made it the norm. So a Keller Williams per se has opened up, and if anybody wants to go to their training, they can, even if they're not part of their brokerage.
Nice.
That is amazing. And so you can really still hold your license. The benefits of holding your license with a smaller brokerage at times is the fees that you're not going to have to pay.
Talk to me. I don't know nothing about the fees. I mean, I do, but not to the degree that you do. Yeah. So tell me about that difference.
So the franchises have franchise fees. Keller Williams, Tucker, Century 21, Carpenter, EXP, all of those places have franchise fees or some type of ongoing monthly recurring fee. That's how they get paid from their brokers. And so private brokerages, we control our own fees. So, I mean, there's, I'm sure 3 or 4 people that may have their license for whatever we discussed. You get what I mean? Little to nothing. It may be nothing because we don't get a whole lot of money from agents who just want us to hold their license. Investor agents are different. Sometimes the private brokerages can, let's say, negotiate a flat rate fee for each listing that the investor has because they're not taking clients. So there's not really a huge liability or insurance issue because you don't have a pipeline of clients. All you're doing is flipping your own houses and selling your own houses.
Right.
That's it. So there's not much for the broker to do. So then you negotiate a flat rate fee per listing. But if you're just wanting somebody to hold your license for 2 years until you start, there's pros and cons to either. Gotcha. And if you want to start a brokerage in 2 years, you really want to kind of learn in that 2 years from somebody, some kind of training because you'll be flat-faced.
Definitely.
Start, so.
Do you know the average fee split that a Keller Williams or a big company does? What's the average fee split?
So Keller Williams is probably, I think it's like 53-47.
Oh, they got odd numbers?
Yeah, because that's what it ends up being after certain like transaction fees and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Now, it's all negotiable, which people don't really know going in. A brand new agent doesn't know to negotiate your commission split.
All right, I'm a brand new agent. You're going to be my coach.
Okay.
All right, so I'm an investor, but for the sake of this example, I'm going to become an agent. Okay. We want to help somebody that's going to be an agent.
Right, okay.
I'm about to go negotiate. I'm going to Tucker.
Okay.
Like, give me 2 or 3 things that I should do or say to try to get favor.
So foremost, when you go a brand new agent, you're interviewing them. So the ball is in your court. Like they have to woo you to come over there. So you are in control of all the negotiations. If they say, okay, our split, I think Tucker is about 50-50. Our split is 50-50 for a brand new agent because you don't have a portfolio to show yourself. You know what I mean? Show that you can sell. That's very true. You haven't sold one house yet. So as a private broker, I'm going to say the same thing like, oh, okay, but let's talk about it, and so you can negotiate not only the commission split, maybe you're like, okay, I'd rather do 60-40 and $150 desk fee every month to have access to your facility. Desk fees are usually set in place, but everything, that's the first step and the first piece of advice in real estate. Everything is negotiable. I mean, that's from choosing your broker to writing a contract. And you negotiate what you feel is you're comfortable with.
And you think 60-40 is fair as a new guy?
60-40 is about average, yes.
Okay.
It's about average. It's higher. I mean, it's a little better than other ones. And most private, and I'll just tell you, most private brokerages are probably like 70-30. Those splits mean 70 going to the agent, 30 going to the broker. Mm-hmm. And so most private are like 70-30. EXP is 80-20.
EXP, what's EXP?
It's like a Keller Williams.
Okay, got you.
And so EXP is 80-20, which
that's aggressive.
Yeah, not a shameless plug at all, but like out of all the big brokerages, like they really got it going on.
Okay.
And so EXP is 80-20, but they have like an $85 per transaction fee or something. Okay. When you're selling millions in real estate, that's nothing. $85 is nothing. And so all of those fees you have to look at because they come out of your bottom line. But they're all most of the time the split is negotiable. Usually the per transaction fees are not, but the split is always negotiable.
Gotcha.
Just go in there and say what you want, and then just like a car or a house or anything else you want, just negotiate it. The worst they can say is no. And then you go to another broker. As a new agent, you should interview at least 3 brokers anyway.
Okay.
To see who's going to fit you the best. What are they going to offer you for marketing and advertising, signage, business cards, websites, all of that kind of stuff that's going to make you successful. Are they going to give that to you, or do you have to pay for it?
Understood. Okay. So that's something for me to carry in that to a larger firm. Mm-hmm. If I go to your firm, what are the benefits of coming to your firm?
Well, right now, this is going to be an exclusive.
Come on.
So right now, we just transitioned. We were recruited, and we partnered with EXP. And so now we're Divine Realty Group powered by EXP.
Okay.
So coming to my firm now is you get the best of both worlds. The split is higher than what it was, so it's 80-20 now. Okay. The cap is lower than what it was. It's like 8,000 now.
So what's the cap mean? What's the cap?
Cap means, so out of that 80-20, the 20% that you pay your broker goes toward, let's say, a cap. So let's say for every $150,000 house, typically that's a $4,500 check, 3%, which means $3,000 is going to, let's say $3,000 is going to the agent, $1,500 toward the brokerage. $1,500 goes toward that $16,000. Once you hit $16,000, you get 100% of everything you make. And the broker gets nothing else except for maybe a transaction fee, but you're getting all of your money.
Okay.
So in Indianapolis and surrounding counties, that's not really hard to do. That's about $2.5 million in sales to cap. You can do that.
Okay.
If you really wanted to, if you wanted to. So a cap, and caps are different for each company. So that's another thing. How much money are you going to take from me every year? Where Remax may take $21,000, Keller Williams I think is at $15,000. EXP has 2 different levels. They have a $16,000 cap and an $8,000 cap. I mean, and they have different benefits.
Okay, I was going to go into that.
Everybody's like, why wouldn't I just choose 8? Well, 16, if you hit it with a few different things, you can get the whole 16, the entire 16,000 back in stock. And so it's a long-term, it's more of a long-term investment, which I absolutely love because I'm looking at an exit strategy at this part of my life.
Okay.
And so
exit strategy at 34, I love it.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm really excited about it.
Ain't no wrong with it.
Really excited about it. And so, but those are things, all of those are bottom line numbers that agents need to know how much they're going to bring home. Because at the beginning of years, you make a goal of how much you want to make. And then you have to work backward to see how much you have to sell. So with selling real estate, you have to work backward from what number you want to make.
Right. Okay. So I got to ask, why did you decide to merge?
Well, it's a lot of different reasons, but it was a team move. It wasn't a me move.
Okay.
Because if it was a me move, I would have stayed because I'm getting 100% of my money as a broker owner.
Okay.
But merging, I'm on the same playing field as everybody else on my team.
Okay.
Paying the same amount. I actually chose to pay more with the cap because I have different things I want to do. But when I brought everybody over, I negotiated for my team so they didn't have to pay to come over. And they came in on half of the cap that I came over. And so they trusted me. Because they trusted me and all went with me, I negotiated for them, not for me.
So Tone is under them now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Together. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And so, and our team is growing. There's so much additional revenue that you can make by growing your team that it just makes sense. it made sense financially. It made sense in the long run. My agents automatically made 10% more because my commission was 70-30. Now they automatically are on 80-20. So it was a team move. It wasn't a me move. And I don't want to be the only one at the table eating. I want everybody to eat with me.
Got you. So what I would want to ask is, did you get any pushback from a member? None. Okay.
And I think that came from me supporting my team so heavily the last 7 years.
Okay.
The harsh reality is after someone is with me for 2 years, they can leave and do their own thing.
Right.
But most of my team hasn't because of the personal support. You know what I mean? Like everything, and again, everything's negotiable. So if something didn't work, we renegotiate contracts often. But no pushback. They had questions and as long as I could answer them, they went with me.
Got you. What is the reason for somebody to renegotiate their contract?
So let's say, my mother is an agent on my team.
Oh, that's different.
Right?
My mama used to work here at her hair, and man, that was stressful. I was like, oh, this it's different because she's been giving me direction for 38, 39 years. Yes. Like the communication channel just doesn't go that way. From here to there, this works differently.
It's
like,
totally different.
Yeah, so like that wasn't the best. That was a tough time for me, honestly. Just because she was trying to support me in a time when I was sick and I was short-staffed. So God bless her soul for just like being there for me. But when I got healthy and everything got going again, it was just something to where like she wasn't a team member that I could grow with. And so we knew we had to part ways, and I think it affected us personally a little bit. Yeah. We got over it, but it took a good 6 months to kind of like allow those wounds to heal. Yeah. So tell me about your story though right now with that.
So my mom initially when she came, she was off back like I'm not paying what everybody else is paying. You know what I mean?
She came in with bad energy.
Like she was like, I'm your mama. And I'm
nah, this business.
So I'm looking like, okay, you know what I mean? Like I really
you said okay?
I was just like, all right.
Oh,
and
you the PK because I would have been like, you got life messed up. Yeah. This is not it.
It was like, okay. And that was for a few different reasons. After I turned about 30, I think once I turned 30, I was in a really good position to financially, do some things for my family that I have always wanted to do. And so something clicked in my brain like, oh, I can take care of my parents. I can do whatever they want me to do now. Like if they want this, I can do this. And so because I was not the easiest teenager ever. I just wasn't. And so I was like, oh, it's my turn to, like give it back.
Reciprocate.
Yeah. Okay, give them their reparations for me. So at this stage of my life, they get whatever they want. I mean, it just, if I could do it, they get it.
If you need a stepdaddy, let me know. I'm just saying, like I play stepdaddy. I'm Ziggy stepdaddy too. So like shit, it just kind of goes hand in hand. Okay. I'm taking all the kids if y'all just give me what I want. Because my kids don't act like that.
Give them time. I'm 34.
I hope they watching this. Yeah,
I get, especially my daddy doing. And that's the funniest part. My mom be like, y'all give me socks, but you give your daddy a truck. You know what I mean? So she, so I'm trying to balance it.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to balance it out right now. So yeah, she could do whatever she wants with her contract. Okay. You got me? But other agents, let's say when they joined with me, they were brand new and I put them on 70-30, but now they sell $10 million a year and they're like, okay, I don't want to pay that much in cap anymore. Maybe it's just different. Maybe it's easier for me to do a 80-20 with a lower cap and pay you a monthly fee because that helps me because I hit my numbers really quick. And that's just like anywhere, really. You can really, with some hard work, you can cap really quick. It's a little difficult right now in this market.
Why?
This market is very aggressive.
Meaning there's a lot of agents.
A lot of agents and a lot of buyers with not enough houses for sale.
Well, I know there's not a lot of inventory, but are you specifically saying that what's affecting your agents is the amount of agents?
No, it's the lack of inventory.
Understood.
Yes. So where the inventory went down, more people got their license, sitting at home. But when I say it's a fight for every single house.
Oh, I already know.
Yeah, especially since you didn't give me the one on Sheffield. So
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't even know you looked at it. Like I don't monitor that. Like I outsource.
Definitely should have plugged it in somewhere.
That's funny. That's funny.
But no, so how how it went with that that's every house.
That was so that house, to be specific, to give the context to the podcast. We put the house on the market, I want to say Thursday or Friday. In 48 hours, had 50 showings, 13 offers. I asked for 167, I think, and max offer was 200,000. Yeah. But don't get me wrong, I don't get all hyped up because it's 200,000. Let me break that down.
Yeah, because we got to go with appraisal.
Yeah. So although somebody offered me $200,000, what we have to pay attention is how much are they willing to pay above appraised value. So when an appraisal comes out to, check the home out, you have to let them know everything that you did over to it, everything you fixed and or bought new. And then he'll basically appraise the value of the home. So let's say he appraised it at 180, yet in your offer, your client said, I will pay $5,000 above appraisal price, but my offer is $200,000.
Right.
The offer is really 185. So those are the things that I pay attention to. So although somebody did give me offer 200, their true number is right around.
We don't go by the highest offer price.
There it is.
Have listings.
Yeah, that's just something to clarify that. Yeah. But that was crazy to me just because
that's every house, Eric. Every single house that hits the market, especially in certain areas.
That's cool. I got
anthills.
I got 3 coming, so like I need all of that.
Look, we'll talk off market.
Yeah.
So, but that's how it is, and so it's really for a brand new agent right this second. I know it's discouraging as hell because the truth is, for every accepted offer post that we post or closing post, we got 20 no's before that one accepted one. Right now, 18 months ago was not like
work
a whole
really
lot more
just
work.
Get the same.
Yes, that's why it's exit strategy. I'm not showing houses after this year. Exit strategy. Yes, I'm transitioning to a different part of my life, and so.
What do you want to do? What do you want to do?
Well, I want to do some government contracting for real estate.
Okay.
And I want to tap into an entirely new industry that I'm thinking about. But for real estate, I want to do some government contracting and just be list heavy. I've invested. We flipped too.
So when you say list heavy, you're basically saying you want to be a listing agent.
Yes.
Gotcha.
To sell the house.
So you don't want to be taking me around different houses. You want to be listing the house. Therefore, you don't have as much work to do.
Not necessarily. Now I'm not saying I want to accept buying clients because I have a showing assistant. To handle.
They have to be licensed too, right?
Yes, your showing assistant should legally be licensed.
Okay, gotcha. And should legally be. So she's giving you advice.
Yeah.
That means you can do this shit, but don't do it. We didn't tell you that.
Right. Should legally be licensed. And so which makes the agent, the buying agent's life a lot easier because that frees up time for other things. But listing is a piece of cake right now, except for when we get 25 offers in a day and we have to go through all of those and write down all of the numbers for each one and not choose the highest. And help your seller understand why we're not choosing the highest. And so those things, this market is bananas. It's exciting for people who are selling houses.
Man, come on
and
now.
Investors because the houses we flipped are tiny little houses in Broadway, and they're good.
Yeah. Now, question to you, just for somebody that is an agent like yourself, and obviously they may have a nice clientele list. And they need some assistance, and they need to get it. How do you commission your showing assistant? So
that's the negotiable in their contract. It could be per house fee. Like let's say you give them $25 per showing, and if the house goes under contract, this is all hypothetical, and the house goes under contract, and you close, they can get $300 or $500. Gotcha. So that's how a showing assistant can make their money. If you are not in the position to salary them or pay them hourly, to be on staff, then they can do per fee, per house showing, and an incentive if it closes, if they show the house.
Gotcha. So, okay.
And it can be really cool because some new agents,
that'll get their feet wet, and that's how they can practice.
And they love showing houses when they come out of school. 7 years later, that's not really necessarily the funnest part of my job.
Understood.
You know what I mean? So they want to show. I want them to show it for me.
Got you. That's actually a cool idea for a lot of people.
And there's a company, don't know the name off the top of my head, but there's like it's almost like virtual assistant, but it's a showing assistant company that, or an app or something. My agents use it all the time, and they pay like $25 for showing if they can't be two places at one time. And it's a whole bunch of agents in Indy who will pick it up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's kind of
now
like
the only thing I would be worried about that is it's kind of like my representation. You know how you said like you take over the showing, you allow your energy and your flow to kind of like you know you being you sells the house sometimes.
Yeah.
That that takes away that personal touch, huh?
Sometimes it can if you did not establish the relationship prior.
Okay.
Most of the time, by the time I have someone else showing the house for me, I've already probably showed the client at least 5. Okay. And we talk every day, so I'm not necessarily worried about.
So you're not handing me off.
Yeah,
you're just,
no.
You're nurturing and establishing a relationship, and they're understanding that you may have different legs to your operation.
Hey, John is going to show you this house at 5, and then call me and let me know what we can do. We'll talk about it. Boom. It only takes 20 minutes now to see how they'll know as soon as they walked in because they've already saw 10. And so
got you. I tell people like when you see it, you need to visualize what it can be because you ain't gonna get it perfect.
Right,
anymore.
Not what it is right now.
No.
Look past everything.
Would you suggest new builds during a time like now? With the price of wood though, that's crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, some of these builders did go up like $30,000 in a month.
I mean, and you have to though. The price of wood. I mean, I bought $8,000 worth of wood. The invoice said $22,000 though.
Yes.
So it's just like, wait a minute, like.
It was funny. In my neighborhood, someone had a trailer full of lumber, and I was getting ready to post like, "This is hitting a lick right here."
Man,
they had it just sitting in the driveway.
So no lie, me and Antonio did that mastermind, right?
Yes.
They were building an apartment complex right across the street, and they put a fence all around it. Antonio walked in, was like, "Hey, bro." We should hit a lick. Yes. It just jumped that fence, man. I was just like, man,
they was just sitting wild. In the driveway. I was like,
a 2x4 that was literally like $275 is $9 to $10.
Yeah, right, so they do have to increase. The downfall right now for new construction is it's taking a lot longer. Yeah. As well, so where it was 18 months ago, now it's 10 to 12, and a waiting list, and they have to figure out new communities. So it's just all of these things, but new construction, you're gonna at least get what you want. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna pay a little extra.
Now, question to you. I say this. I want your take on it.
Okay.
In Indy, I don't think that shit ever stops. I think this is going to be the new norm for at least 5 years.
Yeah, I don't see it slowing down nor turning around.
I don't care about how many foreclosures come on the market. I don't care. This is why. Even if you get the foreclosure, it still has to be rehabbed. Yeah. And that's a process of 6 to 8 months. Yep. And every investor can only do so many.
Yep.
So I feel like that's this. When you have 20 people buying to one house for sale, that's going to continue to go.
And the harsh reality is that's what we want our houses to do, is to increase in value. Mm-hmm. It's just you don't want it to happen while you're trying to buy one. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's a catch-22. And it's a great time to sell, but if you sell, you have to buy. So you sell high, you got to buy high, unless you're moving somewhere else, which is glorious.
But the truth is, it's happening everywhere.
Everywhere.
It's happening everywhere. But I think that it doesn't stop here because the market here is so affordable. Mm-hmm. Therefore, out-of-town investors are still going to continue to pour into the Midwest, and therefore, naturally, the bottom line is going to get raised. Yeah. And it's going to stay raised.
And it's not just happening in Indy. It's happening in Gary, too. Like in Lake County. It's going crazy up there. So
Lake County, like that's just where a lot of people fish at, just because of the price point.
Gary, East Chicago, all of them.
And people don't. Chicago's so expensive that a lot of people reside there, just drive over.
Yeah, so that's like a lick up there right now. A lot of people outside of the state. I see somebody, her name, an investor lady, huge on social media. I think she's in Atlanta, and she has like a Invest in Gary thing going on right now.
What's her name?
Nico. Her name is Nico.
Yeah. Antonio introduced me to her.
Yeah, so I'm like, this is huge, and they're just going up there and investing in Gary everywhere. I mean, it's like everywhere, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I should just drive up there a little bit. I don't like driving to Chicago at all. However, I would go up there to invest.
Chicago's a dope city. Yeah. So now that we talk about that, like, does your husband play a role in all of this?
Not at all. When we flip, yes, he helps
Okay.
manage, the contractors and things like that. So I don't have to be there every day. But no, he doesn't. That's not his thing.
What does he do?
He's in graphics design and arts, but he works for Adidas Group,
Okay.
and so he enjoys his career there, and
Dope.
totally separate from what I'm doing. In our new business venture, he'll be very hands on, but real estate is not his.
Hold on, we're gonna hold that tag right there. New business venture. Make sure I go back to that.
Yeah.
So the next question I had was, do you invest? And obviously
Yes.
you do.
Yes,
All right. So like, what do you do on the investment side?
we tear it down to the studs.
Got you. How
Yes.
many deals have you done?
So I've been a part of quite a few. Quiet investment as far as just giving them my money and leaving, and then getting it back. As far as me doing it from the beginning to the end, one in Broad Ripple so far.
Okay. Like we're in Broad Ripple. We're about.
Ralston, 48th.
So you're a little bit south from here.
Sobro. Yeah, Sobro.
Gotcha. Okay.
They're calling Sobro. So that's not what we called it back when I was
That's
younger.
funny. So Sobro is kind of like Soho, like
Yes.
Southern Manhattan, like
Yeah.
what I mean, that's our area
South
right
Broad
here.
Ripple, Sobro. So
Okay.
and that's and they're small, as big as this. They're like
Big.
for a whole house.
This is a 12 by
Yeah.
15.
And you can do a whole house for under 1,000 square feet. I did it in 30 days,
All right.
and I didn't have to tear that one all the way down. We knocked some walls down and stuff, but 30-day profit was ridiculous. So I mean,
When we
it was
talk,
really good.
we talk numbers. Like, what's ridiculous?
So in 30 days, I made like 70 grand.
That's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Okay, yeah.
70 grand
Woo!
in 30 days.
How'd you get the
And-
house?
My friend Cortez.
Okay.
Cortez.
Okay.
He's a wholesaler, and so he looks out for deals for me when I'm ready, and he just lets me know what's a good one. He's like, sis, I think you like this one, and I did, and we went. I bought it, and the rest is history. We finished it in 30 days.
Nice, nice.
Great team. Had a great team. I have a great support system. Antonio gives me great advice. Cortez, Adrian, all of them give me really, really. I'm surrounded by some pretty dope.
What's when
And
you
I'm
say
always-
Adrian Red?
No.
Oh, you laugh. All right, we'll leave that there
No,
and keep
not
pushing that.
Adrian Red. No.
Okay.
He used to be signed to me, but no. Adrian
Okay.
Red. But my contractor, Adrian Barwood.
Gotcha.
And
Gotcha.
so,
Okay.
but no, I have really great. I'm always the only woman in the room.
So
Sometimes
you're a woman. How did
Yeah.
you get your first contractor?
Honestly, being around the guys.
Okay.
Because I'm usually a realtor, so they're investors and I sell their
Mm.
properties. And so being around the guys, I'm always on site. I try to be so I can learn too.
Okay.
And they just allow me to use their guys most of the time. But for a brand new person who wants to flip, go to Lowe's at 5:00 in the morning. They're on the parking lot. Like there is
Mm.
tons of contractors everywhere. Or when you're driving through the neighborhood, there's people working out there, and you just tell them what you want to do. You have to approach people. You got to go for what you want to do. Like, don't be scared. You want them to work for you.
Got you, man. So, how long have you been investing?
2 years.
2 years. About how many deals have you flipped?
My one in Broad Ripple, but being a part of 7.
7. So you basically were a private money lender,
Yes.
and then you watched the project and learned,
Mm-hmm.
and then you took up on your own project.
Yes.
All right. So that's a way to enter the market.
Yeah.
If you don't know, is lend the money, watch
Yeah.
the process,
Mhm.
then apply it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And keep on going. Don't be afraid, though. I wasn't afraid. It's not HGTV, though. It's not HGTV. It's not fun. It looks on there. It's not at all. You're not going wild.
So, what are your goals with investing?
I'm not a landlord investor, so I am not interested in long-term holds
Okay.
to rent.
All right.
I wasn't primarily when I started.
Okay.
I do enjoy watching the transformation of a diamond in the rough to becoming like super gorgeous, and I love the financial aspect of it all too. However, with a couple of more years of wisdom, I do understand that I need some different things in my portfolio, and so I'm interested now to add rentals into my portfolio
Before
or
we-
multifamily housing.
Before we go there, you said you're not a landlord investor. What happened? Like, you
Yeah.
say wisdom, I mean, but something triggered that
Yes.
button to be like, that ain't what you like to do, but that's what you need to do. And I think that that's real powerful here because you know, as this is the First Generation Wealth Builders podcast, it's important that we highlight what shift occurred in the mind to really say, hey, it may not be what I want to do, but it's what I need to do in order to build wealth.
Okay, so my girls are in school. So my oldest is in private school, and so that's an expense. So there was something that clicked in my brain. I need an asset to pay for every liability that I have in order to continue to live the life that I have established and I enjoy, without worrying about much. I need an asset to pay for each thing. So for every car I want, I need an asset to pay for that. Rather it be my stock or crypto portfolio or a rental property, however that looks. And so because I like nice things, that's really what it is. I just like nice stuff. You know, we see those shirts where it's like Chanel crossed out and all these things crossed out and it says title and deeds at the bottom. No, I want all of that. I don't want to cross out none of those.
You ain't want to.
I want a check mark next to all of that. So I bought one of those shirts and I'm like, I really want all of that on the shirt.
That didn't fit you. That wasn't your motto.
Yeah,
your motto says check.
Yeah, I want checks on all of that. So
okay.
That is where the shift happened, is making sure that my girls are set up and we have an asset to provide for each liability.
Got you. Now the multifamily game here is crazy. That's hard. It's just like there's sharks everywhere, but there's like whales trying to swallow those.
Yeah. I'm so interested in that. Like, now, and I don't know what is so intriguing because that's a huge project.
I mean, I think this is what may simplify it for you. The same work you got to do to get a single family is the same work you got to do over there. Now the numbers and the way it appreciates is a little different because now you're working with a cap rate and different type of elements. Cash on cash returns are different over there. Based on the asset, the money used, how you leveraged it, joint ventures and stuff like that. So, are you in a position where you ever would syndicate with your just relationships? Now, syndication, for those who don't know, is basically where you become you're an investor, but you accrue accredited investors. That means that these people are worth $1 million, and they have $1 million in assets, and I want to say 200K liquid. That's an accredited investor. So basically, you could market your company to accredited investors. They invest in your company, and you control their liquid assets to then leverage to purchase, multifamily units with the bank loans and their money. And then basically you give them a rate of return on the rents collected monthly. And when you resell, again, you give them their return investment. So have you ever thought about that?
I thought about it. It's not really apprehension. It's at times when you've never necessarily used an investor. I'm like, okay, do I need to use an investor? You know what I mean? My first go-to is, okay, you can do it yourself. You know what I mean? Like,
we always want to use other people's money though, right?
We do, but I use it myself. You know what I mean? Like, I use other people's money. I don't necessarily, we don't use other people's money.
Got you. That is a different concept.
And that's a huge concept, using other people's money.
It is.
When you first start out, you may not have the reputation to do so.
Right.
But once you do, then once you do, then it's just easier. And I mean, your reputation is everything. It's not just your, moral reputation. It's your financial reputation. So that means you have to be good with your money. You have to be
no doubt,
very responsible with it.
And you got to be transparent with the books when you're doing that.
That's a whole other thing. Letting somebody in your financial business.
Yeah.
And so, but syndication, yes, I would be open to it, especially depending on the size of the project.
Okay.
And I dream big. Like, I'm on the Far East Side, so there's so many things that are abandoned now, and especially apartments that I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember when it was booming, and I would love to make it so again. But you also see where the government is moving and how they take over things and just tear it down before you really get a chance or skin in the game. And so, but that is a thing on my horizon. I really want to do something out there.
Got you. I was thinking, hey Ziggy, I was just, when you talk about obtaining buyer's list, like her being an agent, like she has so many relationships that obtaining, like she knows all the players. So that's an advantage of becoming an agent right there.
You get behind the scenes action, and
Siri called us.
Both
Three colors,
phones are
man.
going crazy. I'm like,
Yeah.
what is going on?
It's all good.
So that's another big portion is the relationships you establish as an agent, especially with buying, you know, with all these clients who want to buy houses. You get lender referrals, you get title company information, you get off-market information from the state if you've done your job well. There's huge players in the game right now, like Renew Indy, who used to be amazing, and we can get $500 lots.
Man, so
Not the
you
thing
know, I be
anymore.
complaining about that a little bit. They supposed to be like opportunity zone.
Yes.
It's not an opportunity anymore. They're like almost like for profit.
Yeah.
They're the city's biggest wholesalers.
Yeah.
And you're like tapped into the government because of some relationship I don't know.
Yeah.
But you're low key like killing us. Because there's properties that were for $5,000 pre-Rona.
Or less.
And now they're like 17 to 20.
Yes.
Like, I mean, like,
And
come
so
on, man.
I try to be not devil's advocate, but try to look at both sides where, you know, inflation is happening.
Correct.
And they are still way lower than what we could get without them sometimes. But I also see the partnerships that they're establishing government-wise and becoming partners of big nonprofits nationally. So I see that it's a business.
By far.
You just really who you know, too, there.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about who you know there. Because, man, when I go on there, I mean, I got some properties off there. Don't get me wrong. But, you know, I would love to take more advantage of it. But sometimes I would say that, you know, the prices, the way I see them shift, I mean, and then the price of wood.
That's just because we know the shift, though. If we didn't know the shift, $17,000 for a house is still crazy low.
I agree.
You get what I mean? Like, if we didn't know where it came from, then we wouldn't have an issue with it.
Facts.
So,
that's the
but
truth.
now I know, like, that same $500 lot is $3,000. I don't even want to buy it, but it's still having a piece of land for $3,000. It's still very low.
Got you. So as I'm getting to know about where you were, what you're doing, I heard you say exit strategy several times, and I'm now learning that you partnered. That takes a lot of responsibility off you.
Yes.
And now, so you're leveraging them on the brokerage side. As an agent, you want to do just listings. What's the overall picture look like for you in the next 2 years?
Next 2 years, I will be multi-state selling. So I have my license in Florida and North Carolina right now, too.
Why those states?
Those are the two states I'm interested in moving in after I leave Indy.
Oh, she cutting out, bro. You hear that? That's what I heard. You know what I mean?
I know.
They teach you in counseling. So what I heard was that you're moving.
And I would tell you you're correct. So
okay.
So those are part of my exit strategy is to make my mark here and leave my footprint and then move on.
I love it.
Retire to enjoy the freedom that I'm working for. Not really working for money. It's great, but I'm working for time freedom.
Understood.
And I want to enjoy it somewhere hot. And so Florida's looking really good to me. Okay. And so those states are really where I could see myself growing and establishing another real estate business if I needed to. Interested in doing so, especially in Florida. There's a lot of wealth right in Miami, outside of Miami, Tampa, that area too. So that was my play for those two states, Charlotte and Miami.
Got you. So I understand moving. But do you see yourself more as an investor? Do you see, you know, I mean, like, what area do you lean more to as you're transitioning out into retirement?
Yeah, definitely investor, especially here. I will never stop investing in no
agree
matter
with
where
that.
I live.
I agree. It's like the back, you know, like the back of your hand.
Yes, easily. Okay. So this is easy right here. Not necessarily easy with buying clients, but investing here always. And then I still would probably take a different caliber of client in another state. It would just be corporate clients and government contracting clients, not necessarily residential clients.
Why?
I want to work a lot easier and a lot less as well. And so the money and business have been great in Indy. This is my hometown and always will be. And it's easy for me to do business here because people trust me. And I love it here. However, if I'm transitioning, I need to do something new and different. And so I think that my talents, I feel like LeBron, will be served better in South Beach.
There it is. Ain't nothing wrong with it. There's no wrong with it. So that's super, super dope. and I think you're going to achieve that. And I think that it's very intriguing to see you basically touch every aspect of it. How's like home life?
Yeah.
Like, married, time life balance. How's that?
It's crazy. There's no balance. You know what I mean? You have to just realize that when something is booming, something is not. And then it shifts. It's not a balance. You just enjoy the ride.
You enjoy the ride. He probably over there like, man, she always gone.
He's great. Like, I have a great husband.
I love it.
That's really supportive and secure. Like, so dope. Really great husband, and he just takes care of things, for me. It cheers me on.
He mom?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm just checking. You gotta check on that. You know what I'm saying?
No, not at all.
She said, "Don't get me in trouble. Why you gonna do me like that on camera?"
No. He takes care of me, and then that makes me take care of the rest. If mommy, happy wife, happy life, he learned that really young. And so, smart man, you get me? 15 years in this, so he's good. Like, but the woman does set the tone of the home. We do. Whether it's not a good one or bad, or a good one.
At least you own the BS too.
Yeah, we do. And so, but raising teenage girls and owning your own business is very difficult at times. I have really great kids, like super smart and talented and just really good. Just great kids. However, they're teenagers.
I got two girls too.
Yeah, so they need me a little more now than they did when they were toddlers. And I'm an Uber, I have to drive them everywhere. Well, one is driving now, but drive them everywhere. So balancing my schedule and their schedule is the most difficult thing right now for me. Fair enough. They change my schedule every day.
I got to go to a track meet as soon as we leave here.
One has a tennis match, right? The second up at Cathedral, I think. And so they change my schedule, but me having a good spouse and teammate makes things so much easier. Just the understanding of, hey, we're united front, and wherever I lack, you can pick up, and vice versa, whenever that is going to be. But it's made my life a lot easier.
Do y'all go to counseling to maintain this?
We have in the past, when we were a lot younger, to figure things out because we didn't even know who we were.
Fair enough.
However, through that, through the counseling and things, we learned who we were and how to communicate effectively. And because we could communicate effectively, that makes life just easier. We have those tough conversations, and we have we date every week. We still date every single week.
Okay, y'all got a date night, like a specific night?
Yeah, Friday every week. No kids on those days.
Okay.
So every week we do date. We have a lot of fun. We travel. It's just communication.
I'm happy for you, genuinely.
Thank
though,
you.
Yo, for real.
It's really cool, and that's 15 years later. So we had peaks and valleys, but we learned through the valleys, and now the peaks are really enjoyable. So we're enjoying this part of life.
I love it. So I'm gonna ask you one more question.
Okay.
Why did you accept the interview?
A lot of people don't hear from me often.
Okay.
They don't hear from me often.
Why is that though?
I'm private.
Okay. Ain't no wrong with that.
I'm private with my personal life, and I'm quiet with my business life. I'm just impactful. And so the people who know me, who may have said something about me, know that they can call me, and I'm going to answer the phone. I'm going to answer almost any question.
Oh, you answered every question, but you didn't answer my call. But keep going.
I did answer.
I'm teasing.
But yeah, so, but I'm an open book to those who reach out to me. And so someone said, hey, I think you should maybe do this. And I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, so you, I inboxed you or communicated, and then you asked somebody else?
Oh, no, it was said before you inboxed me. That was like, I think you should go in there. Like, because Cortez is my friend.
Okay.
Me and Omar, we chat. Of course, Antonio, you get what I mean? So Candace is my homegirl. She's like, great. I love her. Her spirit is amazing. So it was brought up in over tacos. Like, hey, I think we talked about your podcast. And it was like, oh, yeah, that would be cool. Maybe you should think about that. And I was like, yeah, I don't know how.
So what did they say about the podcast?
They enjoyed them. We don't enjoy talking. Like, we don't get to.
Okay.
We don't get to really not vent, but express how we truly feel about real estate. We got to be all cheery with our clients a lot. You get me? So there's a few of us who get together and we get to drink and talk and all about it.
Realtors United type of deal. Y'all on a little friend, okay.
Like
but what's the feedback on the podcast thus far? You know,
I enjoyed it. It was just transparent and nice. And
have you ever watched it?
yeah, I watched all of them.
Oh, I appreciate it. Okay, what was your favorite one?
Candace, I'm biased.
Dead. So, wait a minute. Okay,
I'm biased.
So why did you enjoy that the most? You know, like what did you enjoy most of it? Let me ask that.
She's, first of all, because of who she is, she's really dope to me. And we've met before through a mutual acquaintance, and she's just really cool. But I think it's really good that she allows people to see her investment journey, and even saying how she funded her. You know, like I let my job fund what I really wanted to do. That was cool to me. Like a lot of people think, oh, because I need to be an entrepreneur, I just need to quit. No, you don't. You need to plan to quit. You need to make sure you're responsibly quitting and let something fund another thing and then see if it can take over for you. She was super transparent. I love it.
Gotcha. I appreciate it. I appreciate that. So Candace is your favorite podcast.
Yeah, she's the first woman. So we got to stick together.
You're number two? You're number two? Okay.
We got to stick together. But everybody you've had, I love. Like, I enjoy. And I get to talk to, often. And so you have great taste.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So, our goal is to just really spread the conversations and to really empower those who are curious into, investing into real estate. To just like show them the conversations, empower them, and show them how they could build generational wealth through this as an engine. But there's different ways. Yes. You're a broker, a realtor, and now you invest. So that's your route. My goal in the near future is to bring others who are in different industries and basically connect the relationship to real estate that they have. As we all have a relationship, it's all about me finding it and discovering it for them, and actually just then showing them how this could lead, this one thing could then lead to another thing and build generational wealth. Yeah. And so that's my goal with it. We definitely gonna take it nationwide, but I had to start in my backyard.
Yeah. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, no doubt. I appreciate you coming in, man, kicking it with me and Ziggy for a minute. So, man, that's another episode in the books for First Generation Wealth Builders. Stay tapped in, man. We had a great mastermind last weekend. Me and Antonio had a great class with some dope people, brought some dope individuals, and we plan on doing a lot, much more. So tap in with us at entrepreneur-to-entrepreneur.com and see what we got coming up next, as we have some courses and we got the lunch break coming, man. So tap in, and I'll see you on the other side.